Welcome to the 4th episode of Emergency Stories April season. If you'd like to become an exclusive viewer, you can join a channel membership from 99 cents a month to receive exclusive skins, early access to episodes, be visible in the comments, and get shoutouts in the video. In the West Coast city, Lester got into his Land Rover Vogue after a long day party he had attended and drove to go to his house. Lester's vision was slightly blurry, and he was reversing when he rear-ended a parked car. Afraid that witnesses would call the cops, he decided to flee. Derek, who works as a bus driver, woke up early and got inside his Gavril D-Series pickup truck and drove to the bus station. Meanwhile, with Lester, he entered the highway in the opposite direction, and he picks up speed. He started to live stream himself on BeamNG driving on the wrong way, and BeamNG users started to watch the live stream. Vehicles started to avoid the wrong way defender. And Derek, who is still driving and wasn't aware of the wrong way driver, notices the truck in front of him turn left without his turning on his blinkers, and when he looked back on the road, he saw the wrong way speeding Range Rover, and Derek didn't have time to avoid Lester, and both Lester and Derek brutally collided. Drivers who witnessed the crash pulled over to help both drivers, and they called 911. Emergency vehicles arrived on the scene for 11 minutes and began helping the drivers, and unfortunately Derek suffered a nasty head wound and sadly succumbed to his injuries. Lester was seriously injured due to him not wearing a seatbelt and was transported to the intensive care unit. After he recovered, he was taken to the police station and charged for DUI, reckless driving, and vehicular manslaughter. Thank you, Madmonq, for partnering with BeamNGTV. If you want to become a new Ultimate Chad gamer, go to Madmonq and improve your health and energy. And stop drinking energy drinks like a boomer. Check out the link in the description. Bertram was driving a train down the track with boxcars filled with crude oil barrels and tankers with fuel. The train had left the station at about 8:40 a.m. Bertram had hardly any sleep and put the train at 25 miles an hour, turned off the locomotive as it glided down the line. Bertram fell asleep on the controls, which set the locomotive creepily going up to 60 miles an hour. Bertram missed a red light on one of the switches as he was sleeping. Freddie and his brakeman, Gabriel, were waiting for approval behind the station with wagons full of passengers. But when they noticed the runaway, the two gasped in horror and jumped out just in time. Bertram, who had awoken by a thump on the track, saw the stationary train in front of him. Bertram braced for impact, and with a crash, the trains collided. Fuel spilled everywhere and caused a fire. Bertram was burned alive in the locomotive and killed. Freddie and Gabriel had escaped about 20 feet away at a fire department, thankfully unscathed. Multiple passengers in the train were injured. Luckily, everyone survived the impact. Mox was test driving at 2 a.m. his first car, Ford Crown Victoria, that he bought at a used car dealership. He had a license for 1 year so far. He was listening to loud music and he decided to test 0 to 60 miles per hour on the highway ramp. There was no traffic at this late night time. He floored the gas pedal to push the car to a high speed, but suddenly he saw a car with the lights stalled in his lane. Due to his lack of skills, he crashed into the car at about 50 miles per hour. Both cars caught fire. Luckily, Mox managed to get out of his car. Second, the car was hit by a driver that was running from a police officer. The Dodge Charger hit his car at about 140 miles per hour. Luckily, all other drivers saw the crash scene, thanks to the police officer's lights, but one BMW driver who was texting hit the brakes too late. He swerved in an attempt to avoid a vehicle, lost control, and crashed into a small river. Mox was transported to a hospital with heavy injuries, but he was later stabilized. The Dodge Charger driver died on the scene. Be sure to always stay calm in your car and don't exceed your driving skills and limits. Also, always pay attention to the road ahead, especially at night. Peter was leaving his house to visit his mother, who was having a birthday. He bought her flowers and beautiful earrings. Peter had pretty old tires on his car, but he ordered new ones. As he was driving on the countryside road, one of his rear tires popped and he lost control. He spun out into an oncoming semi-truck with a heavy load. As you can tell, Peter died on impact due to his injuries. The truck driver had no injuries but was traumatized. He spent 1 year in therapy before he was able to drive again. Guys, never underestimate the quality of your tires, and be sure to change them before they get too used or old. On January 27, 2021, there was a man named Richard Bronkins who was a tourist in Italy and had rented an ETK 800 wagon from the car rental company called Expedia. He picked it up in a downtown of a city near the sea, but while he was driving over there, he experienced a small problem with his brakes. He noticed that they were hardly working 5 minutes into the ride, but he did not worry at all because he figured it was no big deal and he could just get it fixed when he brought it back. But unfortunately, that would not be the case. He crashed right into the guardrail at 96 kilometers per hour, which pushed him back on the highway, where he got hit by a Skoda Super B, Mercedes C-Class, and 2 other high-speed drivers that couldn't stop in time. Richard suffered heavy injuries, but thanks to the car safety, he survived. Skoda Super B driver was treated on the scene, and other drivers had small pain in the neck and back. Him and his family soon after had started a lawsuit and sued Expedia for $1.5 million, and justice got served. At around 6:30 p.m., a police chase was happening in the Fairhaven city. The driver who was getting chased was Dylan. 30 minutes ago, he attacked and robbed someone of their belongings for an unknown reason. He was getting chased by 2 police officers, Nightblood and yet to be a gamer, YT. Dylan was driving around 100 miles an hour in the downtown with light traffic. Nightblood was behind him, reporting all the damage Dylan was causing. Suddenly, a truck driver was pulling from a side road, not seeing Dylan. Since Dylan was driving at 100 miles per hour, he suddenly appeared in front of an intersection. Dylan slammed on the brakes and hit the semi-truck. He hit the big rig at 40 miles per hour. His vehicle was severely damaged, Dylan was heavily injured, and he didn't use a seatbelt. Doctors made their best to treat him and stabilize him. Luckily, they managed to do it. Dylan was then sent to a court where he was sentenced 5 years of prison time. John took his dad's Ford GT 2005 for a drive. He called his girlfriend, as she loves sports cars as well, to join him for that amazing time. John was driving at high speeds before a police officer pulled him over.
Okay, 43 stopping the vehicle, Central and 40th place.
Officer made a regular DUI test and told John to drive safe before he let him go. But unfortunately, that didn't stop John for speeding. He pushed the car to 120 miles per hour before a truck appeared in the middle of an intersection. John slammed on the brakes before he crashed into the truck. The car burst into flames. Truck driver jumped out of the truck. John died and his girlfriend was stuck in the car, but luckily she got rescued. After suffering a few burns, the flames didn't reach her. The officer who pulled him over came to the scene as well, with a shock after he saw the accident scene. Thanks everyone for watching. If you'd like to get early access for all episodes, be highlighted in the comments, get exclusive skins for your cars, have your character in the stories, join the channel membership starting from 99 cents.